Hello, welcome back to the glacier song. This is the second part of how does a glacier sound like, my journey recording and singing with the glaciers of Iceland. In the first part, which you can find in episode 9 of this podcast, I took you to Jökulsárlon and Snæfellsjökull, the first two glaciers that I visited, and in this episode I will take you to Falljökull, which is an outlet glacier in Jökull in Iceland, and you will also hear recordings from the glacial lagoon Jökulsárlon from Diamond Beach, and finally from the last glacier, which was the last one I recorded and sang with in 2021. So let's start with Falljökull, an outlet glacier in the southeast of Iceland, in Jökull, the largest glacier in Iceland with multiple glacier outlets. This is a glacier in which we hike on ice. I go with my collaborator Francesco Fabris and with the glacier guide Kalia, and we're wearing crampons, helmets, all the security stuff. I was very lucky with the weather for this trip, considering it's Iceland, so again it was a pretty sunny day, not too much wind, and we arrived at Falljökull, hiked on the ice, and we noticed all these big streams of water covering the ice body. And I'll start you off with a recording that is called Sitting Between Streams, in which you have to imagine me holding a parabolic mic between two big streams of water, like rivers, glacial rivers on the glacier itself. And we also have set up the DPA catching the ambience, so it does a mixture of these two. It's at the same time they're recording with both mics, so you will hear a little bit of the mix. This can start transporting you to Iceland, to the glaciers, to the water. I think this recording can ease you in. There were many ice caves, many interesting ice caves in Falljökull that we explored, that I sang inside them using the resonance, and then these little improvised melodies and songs have been part of the music material that I used to compose, part of the palette, the sonic palette of sounds of glaciers and sounds of my voice in glaciers that has been the instrumentation of my album The Water the Lover, that will be released soon with the first single The Egg, so keep tuned for that. And talking about the ice caves, there was a very interesting one because it felt a little bit in between of being a cave, but at the same time being exposed to the outside. It was like a formation. It was a little bit like a cave in the outside, like a tunnel. Also, all these shapes that you see of the opening of a vagina, really like this shape of opening and getting deep inside this portal. So there was this very special cave that I went to sing into. If you see my Instagram, probably you'll see a picture of it. I'll post it with the recording of this episode, because it was a pretty interesting experience in this cave. We set the mics. When I was singing, usually we were using the DPA mics for ambient, and again the binaural in my ears for more intimate, close sound, and we can mix the sounds of both, or we can use them separately. So that was the setting. I went a little bit inside this opening of ice that felt both like an opening and both like a cave. And I started singing, and I was pretty inspired. Then I think something happened in the recording that it was corrupted the sound, but I used this as an effect in one of my songs of the album. So everything that happens in you can use everything that happens in a recording in a creative way, I guess. So there was this thing that happened with the vocal that got a little bit corrupted, the file, and it sounds a little bit like that. You will recognize this in one of the songs of the album when it's released. And then we heard the sound that you will hear in the next recording, and I will play you the full scene because it's all on tape, and that's not gonna appear in the album, but I think it's a pity that it just stays nowhere. Nowadays it's just like fun memories and beautiful memories of something strange, slightly worrying happening with the ice. Luckily we were all safe and everything was fine, but our glacier guide said that she never heard this sound from the ice.
What's going on?
Are we okay?
We're good. There's just, oh my god, I didn't see what was happening.
What was that noise?
Is it good or not? Should we stay or not?
I think it came from that way. Where did you see it? Where did you hear it?
I mean, it's hard to understand from where it's happening.
Something cracked in there, and there's water running.
Yeah, I'm gonna move this.
I thought there was a bridge coming down because I didn't see it. I was like, oh fuck.
Okay.
Which is kind of like it.
Where was the crack?
Yeah. Where is it there?
You mean down there?
Yeah, like through, inside the ice.
Wow. That's interesting. I mean, it looks...
You didn't see anything around you, right?
No.
Sorry
I mean,
that I ruined it.
Well, this is all on tape. Still recording.
Okay.
Whoa.
Never had such a sound before.
Well, that's...
Glacier.
Okay.
Okay.
Should we?
I think
From where did it come from?
I'm very sure I saw it there and I heard it. I just don't know what was going in there. Because
I mean, it
was
sounded
far away.
really close, but I was on headphones,
Did
so.
it pick?
I mean, probably, but in a cool way, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, since we're not sure, I think it's better to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
out of
yeah.
it. Because it has to do with the water coming from there. So something is cracking underneath the ice.
Oh yeah,
Deep
because
inside.
basically this water we have. I mean, I think
Yeah.
it's more the floor that could crack,
Yeah,
not the ceiling.
I think so. No, there's no chance the floor is gonna crack, but it looks pretty solid now. But something happened inside a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
You have my bag, right?
yeah, you're right about that.
I have to check if things inside got very wet.
Do we want to move? Do we want to stay here? We move.
I would prefer to be away from this channel underneath.
I think this is cool. We got something interesting. I like the
Are you still
how it
recording?
ended.
How I reacted?
I mean, it ended. Nature ended.
Boom!
How
Boom.
are you guys so cool about it?
Okay,
Good God.
let's go.
Yeah, this was really singing with the glaciers. Like, the glaciers responded to my voice and my singing live. So actually, I used also this brum sound from the ice in one of the songs of the album, or yeah, more than one, but in one of the songs is the sound that creates the percussion, and all the percussion patterns are created from the sound with audio effects. And yeah, it's also used to help some of the kick sounds, although no kicks, it's all from the ice, but yeah, it's in a few songs. And if this was not interesting enough, after recording in some more streams and ice caves in the glacier, we were about to leave to go back, and we heard one very deep sound, quite subtle, but the crampons make quite a noise on the ice. But I think we just stopped for a second and we heard this infrasound, this sound coming from underneath the surface of the ice, this deep sound of a river of ice moving deep down below the ice surface. So the glaciers are bodies of ice moving under its own weight. But it was subtle, so we were figuring out how best to capture the sound on the recording, and first we tried with the geophone, which was less powerful, but it was interesting. It sounded like this. And then it was surprising actually how powerfully the DPA ambient mics captured it, and here we go with this full, deep, low sound from the ice moving under its own weight, flowing in a solid state like a river. those were the wonders of Falljökull. And the day after, still in the same area of the east of Iceland, that was the rainy day, one of the 5 sort of rainy, windy day. But still we did some recordings in the glacial lagoons nearby Jökull and Diamond Beach. It's after Jökulsárlon, which is one glacier lagoon. There's big icebergs, and then it reaches Diamond Beach and you have smaller icebergs, like little diamonds, not that little, but some stones of ice on the beach. Try to put pictures on the Instagram of this one as well. And yeah, we got some pretty interesting sounds using the geophone in there. We'll start with a recording of Glacier Lagoon in Jökulsárlon, which is just the glacial lagoon outside of Falljökull. And if you listen to part 1, you will recognize that there's a similar recording. This is made with an hydrophone, so with a microphone that it gets put inside the water. Remember, there's no birds, no bird song. It sounds like, but it's all inside the water. The sounds that the ice melting does inside the water body. And after this, we go to Diamond Beach, and you will listen to a recording of a geophone, so this mic that captures the vibrations on surfaces. So, the diamonds, so these like mini icebergs on the sand, on the black sand. Some of them had some holes in them, and through which the wind was sort of singing. And in putting the geophone there, you would capture some sort of infrasound, low sound, and also like the crackle that the wind would make, like going through these holes of the ice. And on that same day, on the way back to Reykjavik, we also stopped to some of the big waterfalls in the south. And I want to share with you part of a recording of a waterfall with the binaural mics on my ears. There is an episode in this podcast called Surrender, Love is a Waterfall, and the power of waterfalls really makes me think of abundance of love and this quality of not containing oneself, almost like of overflow. It really like feels like this purring of love that it runs free. And I also used the sound of the waterfall in one of the tracks of the album. And now we're gonna finish with Og, the Lost Glacier. That was the last day that I went to sing and record with Glaciers in 2021 with Francesco, and we went with a jeep towards the highlands in that direction, and we arrived to this place that was covered in snow, and we hiked for about 4 kilometers over the snow with some wind, and there was no ice, no water. It all had melted, but there was a very intense and transformational energy for me. I tell you more about this in a dedicated episode to Og. It's episode number 10, which is a walking meditation with Og, and you have a recording of my walking in Og, my breathing, and I invite you to walk with me wherever you are in the world and feel the energy of Og. So that's in episode 10 here. We'll skip that and we will end with wind, a recording of wind in Og when we were coming back from the main core point of the glacier. These winds are sounds that I also processed in different ways and with different effects to be part of the textures of my album, The Water, the Lover, which is all produced with only the sounds of glaciers and my voice, that I will release independently in the coming months, starting with the single and music video of The Egg, that actually makes reference to Og, because Og in Icelandic means egg, as a primordial cell that contains the information for all the other cells, the information for the future. I hope you really enjoyed this journey. You can find me on Instagram as Nefer Music, and you can join my newsletter as well for updates, releases, concerts, courses, masterclasses, and my universe that combines avant-garde music, sounds of nature, voice, singing, creativity, astrology, and more. I leave you with the wind of Ok.